Welcome everyone to the Incredicast Podcast. This is post-race, the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona. Brad Keselowski comes from the very back of the field to the front to get the first victory of 2018.
He was last to post with the tape on the nose, man. That was something.
Yeah, a classic Brad Keselowski victory at a plate track. But at the very beginning of the race, we had the Toyotas. They led the majority of the first half. Then we had Chase Elliott. He came through, and he battled Denny Hamlin for, I would say, the first half of the race, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had the 9 car of Chase Elliott and that new green paint scheme over at Rick Hendrick. You had the 9 of Chase Elliott. You had the 3 of Austin Dillon, who he was up there too at the beginning. Also with Hamlin there too. So you had all these cars that they started up at the front. Early on in the race, they were fighting each other. And as you said, with the cars, this first race of the year was these cars were so loose. They were going all over the place. Half the field had to make some crazy saves. As we saw early on with the 42, he hits the 17 car of Stenhouse, and turn 1 he had to dive way below the apron, as you saw, Adam.
Yeah, he about lost it. Like, I have no idea how
Crazy save.
You could say it was an incredible save by the 42 Kyle Larson. The incredible word there.
Sure was. It really was, though. It reminded me of the 2012 save. By the 18.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he go on to win that race that year?
Sure did. He sure did.
But then around lap 25, lap 26, we had something that is known in NASCAR as the competition caution.
Are you a fan of them?
Not really, but they work sometimes and sometimes they don't. But this time it created some interesting strategy, I would say. We had 3 cars stay out, Harvick, Newman, and I believe it was Stenhouse. The rest of the cars pitted before the caution, and then when the restart would happen, they would stay out. The ones that stayed out before the caution would pit. But what is the new thing with the pit stops this year?
Well, as you see, they have a new rule that only 4 men, I believe, you can only have 4 men go over the wall, which it slowed the pit stops down drastically. Last year, we saw pit stops in the high 11 seconds, in the 12 seconds. A slow pit stop last year was high 12s, in the 13s. 13s was, oh my goodness. We saw Kurt Busch's team at Sturt Haas Racing had the fastest time today, and that team was in the 16s. So 2003 called back with its pit stops timings because they're back. So yeah, have the tire changer and the tire carrier are just, they really have a lot of work to do now, because last year you had that extra man there to assist and stuff.
Yeah, and last year we saw that even that amount of pit crew members caused some issues, like Matt Kenseth in the playoff race.
Exactly.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what this year will cause. However, there is a new rule. Instead of you have to go into the garage, it's just a 2-lap penalty this year to have too many men over the wall. But was talking about tires a little bit ago. So speaking of tires, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, and Ryan Blaney, they took 2 tires on that stop that we was talking about. And how would that affect the way these cars would drive?
Well, as we already said, these cars were so loose today. These cars, in clean air, in dirty air, behind, in front, left, right, and, all over the place. These cars were loose. The air moved so much on these cars today. With the new design, with the Chevrolets, with the Camaro, even the old cars, the Toyotas and the Fords, everyone, their car was loose today. And so 2 tires for Brad, it really didn't hurt him that much because of the clean air effect. He was ahead. However, if he had to make a move late on in the race to block, we could see like a stagnation effect over, his car would get either super loose or really tight. In the 9 car, I don't even know what happened to him after the competition caution. He dropped back.
Yeah, I really don't think the 2 tires really helped him that much. I think maybe it has something to do with the Chevy bodies. Who knows? But the 9 car did fall back after that restart. Fought for it a little bit, but then he just drifted back.
Yeah, the 12 was up there, though.
Yeah, the 12 and the 2 managed to stay up there with the 2 tires. But then after that, it was pretty much Brad's race, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he dominated the last half of that race. But it did, however, create some suspense. Who would do what? Will the people in the back try to form a group to come to the front?
Yeah.
We saw drivers like Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney trying to test and see if anybody would come with them by peeking out just a small bit. However, the move that ended up happening was Ryan Blaney. He made a questionable move, you could say, by trying to get Logano to go with him. I would say it was too early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was way too early. Tri-oval, as they're coming out of the tri-oval, that was too early. And then at the same time, he was the only car up in like the first, half of the field that went low.
Yeah, Joey decided to stay with him. So, even if that would have happened, even if Joey would have went with him and Blaney was able to get around Brad, I think Brad would have still got the momentum through the back straightaway, and I think, Brad would have still took the victory there.
Probably would have.
Probably, because Brad is just a pro at these restrictor plates. But then we saw the last lap wreck. The very crazy wreck, which every wreck in this race involved a Ganassi car.
Yeah, really. The one thing we forgot to mention, early on in the race, we had the 1 car, who he got loose. No, he had some contact, right?
Yeah, Kurt Busch.
Contact. Yeah, Kurt Busch. That was right. I'm sorry.
Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch had a run. Kurt Busch had a run and barely tapped him, and he just lost it. So it's loose cars.
Yeah, it really was the air and as the cars.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did. If they were changing up the sway bar, if they, with camber, I really don't know what they were doing. I can guarantee you, this Thursday, when we see the duels run, I guarantee you, these cars, they will have a lot less oversteer. So these teams are gonna go hard to work.
Yeah, they're going to look through all of the video footage and see what they can do to make these cars just a little bit tighter, so we don't have as many issues with that, but it could still potentially be an issue for the 500.
And we had the wreck on the last lap with the 42 car. He plowed into the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. And this goes into that topic of the new Camaro nose and the point that it has at the very end of it. Because he hit the 48 so square and so flat and really good hit to bump draft him. And it just completely enthralled him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, which even Jeff Gordon talked about that with the way the nose is pointed. Sometimes when you hit them square, it'll just, not hit correctly, and there they go, flying into the wall. But yeah, speaking of that wreck, since Jimmy Johnson wrecked, that is his 7th straight time that he did not finish the Clash.
Wow.
Not a good streak to have.
In a row.
Yeah. So 7 time becomes 7 time at the Clash this year.
Sad for him. And you also had Kurt Busch at the end, who got one heck of a run. If we ever have had a run harmony of the race, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He got that run at the end. I thought he was gonna win the race, perhaps.
And he could have won the race if it was not for Larson and the 48. Maybe because everybody knew that the caution was coming out, so they kind of backed off. So
yeah, possibly.
Yeah. So what could have been, what should have been, maybe, who knows? The Daytona 500 winner of last year could have went 2 in a row at Daytona, or at least in the spring.
Yeah.
But anyways, Brad Keselowski. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I was gonna say Brad Keselowski ended up finishing the race in first place, just like he called it on Twitter. He was going to go from the back to the front, and he did. So congratulations to Brad.
Yeah, he said so too.
Yeah.
But you had some really good cars crash in that last lap wreck. You had the 48, of course, to Jimmy Johnson. You had the 18 of Kyle Busch. You had a 9 car of Chase Elliott, who was doing pretty good all race long. After he took 2 tires, he was put in the back after that whole stint with the 2 car. So he was in the back, and his car was really good. It's just, for whatever reason, he got trapped back there.
Yeah.
So he was involved in that wreck. Who else was in that wreck?
I believe Dylan was.
No, he was not, actually.
No, he might have barely missed that. I can't necessarily remember. Oh, yes, Kyle Busch. He was in that wreck, too. And I don't necessarily know who else, but I do know it was a lot of good drivers. Pretty much the rest of the field after that.
Was the last lap, though.
Yeah.
So it's not like, it,
yeah.
We didn't have the caution, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, so the 2 car of Brad Keselowski, he goes on to win the very first race of this year. So,
is that a good sign for him? Will he win the 500?
Could be.
So, speaking of who can win the 500, who do you think will take home the victory next Sunday?
Oh my goodness. Well, we saw a lot of good cars today, right, Adam?
Oh yeah.
We saw a lot of good cars. We saw the 2 car, of course, was, my goodness. So the 12, the 22, Hamlin was up there as well. The 9 of Chase Elliott. There were a lot of good cars that were strong, who could stay in front of the pack and lead the pack well and get to the front. So my pick will be the 9 of Chase Elliott. He was really strong in this race. He had tire problems with the strategy later on in the race. It just didn't help him that much with the 2 tires because of track position. You had guys who put it on the lap before who just passed him. Strong guy,
Yeah.
talent, really good car, really good team.
Yeah, Chase could do it. I believe he could.
Yeah, so.
But for me, I think Keselowski will win the Clash. And
Really? Why do you say that?
oh, I don't know. Maybe because he's that freaking good at Daytona.
What grounds do you have for this pick?
Yeah, but I do believe Keselowski will do the Clash and the 500 win. I don't remember when the last time that happened. I do believe it was with Hamlin.
Yes, sir. 2016.
So.
Yes.
So yeah.
I could definitely see that happening.
So yeah, everyone, look out for the 2. Look out for the 24.
No, it's the 9 now.
Oh yeah, not the 24.
Adam.
Oh crap. Well, still look out for the 24 because William Byron is out there.
Yeah, probably.
He is a good racer. Was good in Xfinity Series and trucks.
Yes. So.
I'm still in the 2017 mood, so.
Oh, it's okay.
Excuse me. But yeah, re-saying that, look out for the 2. Look out for the 9. There is a poll up top. You can either agree with me or agree with David. If not, comment down below. Who do you think will win the 500? Before we end off, what is our special announcement that we have?
We have some exciting news here at Incredicast. This Wednesday, we will be interviewing a NASCAR Cup Series driver. Wow. We don't know who it is. We've sent our picks. Who we preferred to interview. It'll be over the phone. However, we will, us two here at Incredicast, we find a way to do things. Adam here is crazy with the uploading and the, everything that you do is just insane on this channel. So we will find a way to record that and have it on the channel for you guys. And we have a few drivers who we picked, who we're not too sure if it's going to be them or not. We have the 2 of Brad Keselowski. That's ironic. We have the 9 of Chase Elliott. We have the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. and the 4 of Kevin Harvick. So there's a good chance that on Wednesday we will be able to ask one of those guys some questions.
Yeah, wouldn't it be awesome if we had the race winner with us?
Oh, Brad Keselowski. Oh, that
would be awesome. Yeah.
What if the person that we had, they went on to win the 500?
That would be crazy. Like, we could say that we talked with the Daytona 500 winner of that year. So
yeah.
It's just amazing what we have accomplished this year without even uploading much. So
yeah, really. We did what? We did the Super Bowl podcast and we did the preseason podcast,
Yeah, and this year, the way it's been going so far, I am really excited to see what we can do. I'm pretty sure we can make a good community, a good NASCAR community where we can just talk about racing and be one big NASCAR family. But I do believe that's all we have for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we will see you Wednesday for the interview, and then sometime next week for the 500. We may also have another guest for that. So, lots of exciting things for Incredicast.
Lining up early for the season.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what Homestead brings.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next time on Incredicast. Hope you guys have a nice week, and we'll see you.